Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Creamerie Season 2. So, Season 2 literally just dropped about 2 days ago, and nobody knew. Okay, so if you don't know, I talked about Creamerie last year or so. I watched it, it was great. It introduced me to these three Kiwi actresses and everything, where I watched a show called Flat 3 and Friday Night Bites. And I talked about that also. And so this show came out in 2021, but the second season didn't come out to just now. And so, nobody really promoted this show whatsoever when it was right before it about to come out and everything. The stars really didn't. The network certainly didn't. It's a New Zealand show, and the TV network and Hulu both dropped the trailer on the same day, just 2 days before it actually came out. That's not a lot of time to promote something, especially when people been wondering if season 2 was even filming, because it was confirmed that there was a season 2, but nobody actually knew if it was ever actually being made. Now we do, because it just came out. And it's 6 episodes, just like the last one. This season is bigger, bolder, and darker than the first. And I really enjoy this season. They took everything that was good with season 1 and they kind of amped it up. They fixed a lot of the problem with the humor, made it flow a whole lot better. And they took what was established in the first season and they elevated it and stuff. They evolved it. There was the stakes were much higher. It's a bit more action-packed this season. It's a lot more driven and focused. My only 2 complaints would be there isn't enough character development with some of these characters. There are 2 that, there's one that gets a lot of character development. She surprised the crap out of me. And but it needs to be a bit more character development, because for the most part, some of these characters stay exactly how they were in season 1, or they regress just a tiny bit. But for the most part, everybody is literally just the same. And the only other problem I have is that episode 4 is just the one that kind of takes me out the ballpark, because everything was getting darker and grittier, and then all of a sudden there's this light humorous episode that's bright and colorful, and episode 4 with a whole lot of humor, and it kind of just took me out. But if you know anything about these 3 actresses, they love comedy, they love humor, and they have their own unique blend of it. So I am used to their comedy and stuff. It's just kind of like when the ball was moving and stuff, I kind of wanted it to go in that same direction instead of a light humorous direction and stuff. But then it cranks back up to getting back darker and grittier. And the ending twist, there's 2 of them, took me by surprise, to where I did not see that happening whatsoever. I was very shocked. And so I do wonder, if it gets to season 3, can it survive a season 3 in the direction that it goes into? Because it's kind of now that this one person is gone, it's kind of there's another bit bad, and it's kind of I don't know, how long do they have before they run out of steam? Not to mention, a lot of European type shows. Actually, I don't know, is New Zealand European? They sound European. But anyway, they don't last long. They only last for a couple of seasons and stuff, unless they're a soap. Then they last forever. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this season. I'm so glad I watched the first season on Hulu whenever I watched it sometime last year, because I never knew these 3 women existed. The guy, Jay Ryan, who plays Bobby, eventually I would have known of him from the It movie. But these 3 actresses, Ali, JJ, and Paulina, I'm so glad I got introduced to them, man, because they are just like one, they're great representation, and two, they're just like amazing at what they do and stuff. And I have no idea, still to this day, what JJ's real name is and stuff. I honestly just don't know. She won't tell nobody, man. But of course, this wouldn't also be possible because they helped create this show with I can't talk. Rosalind, I think Lang, I believe her name is. I've talked about her a couple of times before. She directed every episode and wrote most of them and stuff. And she is amazing and stuff. I still can't believe she got her start when I first saw her on Power Rangers. And who would have known she would have been directing, creating, writing? Like, who would have guessed it coming from Power Rangers, you know? And so, if you don't know what this show is about, it's called Creamerie. And yes, that is a play on word for something gooey. So basically, like this: a virus hit the world and killed all the men. And like men, like born with the Y chromosome and stuff like that. Like, so all the men are dead. And there's nothing but women. And so, of course, the women are going to die out if they don't replicate and stuff, reproduce and stuff. So, a couple of women have, like, sperm banks and stuff like that, but they're running thin. And a lot of women, they want to have a baby and stuff. And one of these characters, Jamie, played by JJ, she wants to have a baby very badly because both her husband and her son died of the virus. Now, if you're born with a male, the male will die within your stomach and you will miscarriage and stuff. And so I only know what happened in New Zealand. They won't say what happened in the rest of the world. The rest of the world, yes, once again, the virus took out the men, but I don't know how they're coping with it and stuff. We only know what's happening in New Zealand. Then a miracle happened. They found a guy hiding out on their farm. Alex, JJ, no, I'm getting the names messed up now. Alex, Pip, and Jamie, they found the man hiding out. And it's like, holy crap, there's a man. He's like alive and stuff. So, of course, Jamie wants to, like, make a baby with him and stuff like that and all this other crap. And so he mentions that he escaped the place, and the place has other men. And so, like, he's been on the run and stuff like that. And so he's being hunted down by a hunter. And so they try to help him out. The hunter turns out to be a good person. She's trying to get him to the sisterhood where the rest of the other men are at, but he don't know that. Now, this part of where they live at in New Zealand is controlled by a mayor named Lane, played by Tandy. And she is part of a wellness program. Wellness is kind of like this thing for womanhood and stuff like that. Teaching how to be a strong, independent woman. They are evil in this show. And they're trying to do the whole New World Order with that of Lane. They try to capture Bobby and everything. The girls get involved. It's crazy. And then towards the end, they find out that wellness has tons of men strapped to a machine watching porn and pumping them and stuff for their creamerie. And women around New Zealand have no idea this is going on. Not even other women in wellness, only the higher ups and stuff. But it turns out that Jamie's husband is alive and he's working with Lane and he is her lover. And that's where it ends. And now it picks up exactly where it left off at. And so Jamie is very shocked and surprised to see that her former husband survived the virus and everything. Also, Allie is surprised because that's her brother. And so, this really changes Jamie. She becomes dark this season. And I mean, she becomes dark. Because she loved her husband to death, but she loved her son just as equally. But she never got to see her son because she miscarried and stuff. And you cannot literally fathom what she is growing through, all these emotions and stuff, right? And so, like, they are like, they're trying to like strap Bobby into like, one of those machines and get him pumped and everything like that. Bobby is the second person that has a lot of character development. He's more enraged this season than he was last season. Last season he was more scared and on the run. This season he is just furious. He has all these tantrums and like outbursts and stuff. He goes completely beast mode and just start whooping on all the women and stuff. Because this man is literally fighting for not only his survival, but not to be like sexually assaulted and everything. Which he almost was last season when Lane tried to force not Paulina, I'm getting the names mixed up, Pip, on Bobby, and she didn't want to do that. And so, he doesn't want to be like these men watching porn, like, being pumped and like, literally drying out. So he is fighting like, like a bull and everything. Complete beast mode. And so the ladies, they go into the freezer room. And the other women will not like barge in and shoot the place up because there aren't that many guns left now. And only certain people have them. And so like so they realize the women guards are not going to barge in because there's tons of vials of sperm in there. So smart as they are, they use like, the what are things called? Gurney trays or whatever, filled with vials of sperm, and they're using them as shields, but in like a kind of like a triangle shape while they're inside the middle. That is the smartest thing. I was not expecting that. And so they make their way out, and then there's a guy desperately wants to go with them, but he's strapped down. So with some glass broken, Bobby like kicks it to him and he frees himself. They all like escape and everything. And they get into like, a car and they drive off. The only problem is when they tried to escape out this one room, there was like this like well, first Bobby is also on a mission to free the men. And so he sees two men in a room watching TV. And so Daniel, the guy who escaped with them, told him those are the good guys. Don't know exactly what those were yet until we find out. Basically, they're super brainwashed and they would do whatever the women say. They get perks. They're allowed to watch TV, get like really good food and stuff like that. And they have their own pumping machine they can use whenever they want to. They don't want to leave because they've been brainwashed to say that the outside world is full of germs and is dangerous. So they hit the panic button. When the others go into like a room, there's a metal gate down. Pip realizes she can pull like the chain and open it up. Problem is, it's so heavy that it goes down and she gets trapped. So now she's trapped inside with the bad people of wellness while the others escape. And so Daniel tells them that, he came from the sisterhood. He was there, he got bored, he left, and then he got captured by like, wellness and stuff. But it turns out that, what is his name? Is it Jackson? I think it is Jackson. The husband of like, Jamie, he's hiding out in that car. And so they go to like a checkpoint and everything. And the guard is about to rat them out and hit a panic button. Tons of metal strips will like come up in the road and it will alert wellness where they're at. So they have to like fight her off and everything, and then they drive off. And so the group is extremely pissed, of course, at Jackson and everything. Allie is pissed. I said Allie, is it Alex? Alex is pissed, and of course, Jamie is just like beside herself. But nobody is more pissed off than that of Bobby, who wants to kill that of Jackson. So he wraps like a rope around his neck and he hangs him. only for Jamie to find Jackson's knife and cut him free and literally tell everybody if anybody's going to kill him, it's going to be her. So they're going to keep him alive. Plus, Alex does not want nobody to hurt her brother. Even though he betrayed everybody, she still wants him to live. Daniel informs everybody that Jackson is the Pied Piper. He goes out into the world and he looks for men and he lures them into wellness. That is what he did to Bobby and everything. Now we also find out this season that Bobby is full of former military and stuff, where he gets a lot of his training. Now one thing is odd, the men's hair. Because it's been about 2 years since the last season, the guy's hair have changed. Now, this is what's so bizarre. When it starts off, we see Bobby with his normal hair from last season. Then the moment he escapes and goes into the woods and tries to find the sisterhood, his hair changes. It's now buzz cut and it's like flappy in the back. There's no explanation as to how his hair changed within a couple of seconds, or minutes, I should say. Then there is Jackson. When he's making out with Lane, his wig comes off and everything, but he has long hair. Most likely the actor cut his hair, and he probably just didn't want to wear a wig the whole time. But they even ask him, dude, why are you wearing a wig for? But he never explains. And so Daniel tells him, we have to get back to the sisterhood and everything and free the rest of the men. So this is now where they're going. They go on this journey and everything. All the while Bobby wants to straight up kill Jackson and stuff. Now as for what's her name? Pip and everything. Sadly, she is being tortured by the doctor. I think it's Dr. Harvey, I think it is. The doctor from last season who was barely in the show. They want to know where the rest of the group is going, but she ain't gonna tell them, plus she doesn't even know herself. So they strap her to this device that the doctor made and they electrocute the crap out of her. So she lies and tells them, she'll tell them. So she's in the car with Michelle. Michelle is played by, of course, Kim Crossman and everything. The second female Red Power Ranger. And so, she's a bubbly, perky kind of girl. And she doesn't really know what's really going on at the head up. So kind of does. And she felt terrible when they tried to force Pip to assault Bobby and stuff. So Pip is trying her best to get on Michelle's good side, trying to tell her, why do you let Lane boss you around and all this other stuff, and you don't know what's really going on, and I can prove it to you, and stuff like that, right? So we don't know really what's going to go on with them, but then we later on find out. Now with the rest of the game, they find the sisterhood. The sisterhood is kind of like a bunch of hippies and stuff. And it turns out they're the one who sent the hunter out to find men and stuff. But there are no other men there except for one. And so they don't understand what happened to the rest of the men. So what the sisterhood do, they give them some funny juice and they get high off it. Bobby is the only one who does not want to drink it. And I think Jamie doesn't either. Alex, on the other hand, she trips. And when she trips out, she starts to hallucinate her mom. And she goes into a tent. Well, apparently her mom used to be part of the sisterhood. And there she finds all of her mom's notes. And it turns out that her mom was trying to crack this whole wellness thing. That what got her mom lobotomized. And Alex thinks she's found a cure. It has something to do with the men's baby molar teeth. That's how they survive the apocalypse and stuff. And there's a bunch of other stuff written down on the pad. Things that she can't even identify that only her mom knows. And so it turns out that the guy tells Bobby that the rest of the men, this is the part that pisses me off, because it's kind of really, y'all are that stupid. Okay, the sisterhood no longer have dart guns. Why? Because all the men decided to go like Call of Duty and have some fun out in the woods. So they took the dart guns and they shot themselves. They got tranked and then they fell over the cliffside into the water and stuff and they drowned. He was the only one who didn't go because he didn't want to play. And I'm just kind of like, are you seriously telling me that a group of men, the only ones left on the earth, they killed themselves by shooting each other with tranquilizers because they wanted to play around? What kind of writing is that? That pissed me off when I heard that. It just makes men look stupid, which is what a lot of modern day television does. But the guy talking to Bobby had a very heartfelt speech. He literally tells him that, like, he doesn't want to go with them and continue to hide. He wants to be able to go out in the world and be free. He doesn't even want to stay with the sisterhood because there he has to hide and be free, but he should be free all around the world. And that is so sad, and it is so true, because if the women find him, they will misuse him and stuff. They will either assault him or they'll hook him up to one of those machines. And it's so sad and it's so tragic and stuff. And so, like, he arms them with some dart guns that he had left over, and they go and try to free the rest of the men from the place they just left from. And they also want to get, like, Pip back. When they go there, Pip is there with the others, like Michelle and the guards. And it turns out that they got all the men out of there and all the equipment. So Michelle does not believe them. And so they tranquilize all the guards and they take Michelle. They need a place to stay. And they go to her place, which she is a hoarder. But for whatever reason, she's helping them out and stuff. And so they realize where, like, Lane must be. Because somebody mentioned jelly, because Michelle has to make Lane jelly because Lane is pregnant, and she's pregnant with that of Jackson's baby, which is screwed up and pisses Jamie off even more. Oh, by the way, Jamie stabs Jackson in like the leg. But anyway, yeah, so she is pregnant with his kid. But guess what? Jamie is also pregnant from like the sperm stuff that she used from last season. And so, like, because Michelle has to make Lane some jelly, this reminds Pip of what the good guys told her. They wanted to eat jelly that night. So they must be with Lane at Lane's place. Michelle has been there, and of course Jackson is. So they make a plan to go there. So when they go and break in, nobody's there. And the humor in this is great. It's very well written. But they split up. And when they do, Michelle, I think it's Michelle, Alex, and no, it's Michelle, Pip, and what's her name? Bobby. They're all in like this garage, and there is a van. Inside the van are the men. They're trapped inside. The two good guys are there strapped with explosives on them, and they have a button to push. They've been instructed if anybody tries to come down there to like blow it sky high and kill themselves. This is the extreme Lane will go to. So they try to calm the men down, and Bobby literally tries to plead with this dude. And tells him, like, look, man, we can protect you. We can get the men out. We can like turn Lane in and everything. And the dude's all like, is it true? Is it dangerous on the outside world? Is there like running water? Is there like, can we use the bathroom? This and that. That man is so brainwashed that he does not believe what Bobby tells him, and he hits the button. Bobby like gets Pip and Michelle out the way, but now the good guys and the men in the van are all dead. So now the only sperm that is literally left is in the little sperm banks and everything. And the wellness place has, or they had tons of it until they knocked the vials over and stuff. But also, other parts of New Zealand has it. And so, with the other group, Lane comes in and she's taunting, Jamie some more and everything, and she has a gun on them and telling them that she's pregnant with a boy, the very first boy, and he didn't die in the trimester and stuff. And so this is a miracle, and this will help repopulate the world. And so like she doesn't like the fact that Jackson betrayed her, so she shoots the crap out of him. This upsets both that of Jamie and Alex. And so after that, like, Lane escapes, right? Then we get into episode 4, the one I just thought was so humorous. Basically, they're inside like a tour van, and they got new clothes on that are brightly colored, and Pip is wearing a Spice Girl shirt and everything from that one album that's really good and stuff. And so where they're going now is to talk to the Prime Minister to turn in Lane. And so where the Prime Minister hold up is very nice and swanky in the city and stuff. And it turns out the Prime Minister is some kind of like young 20-year-old with purple hair, a hipster millennial and everything, who talks in tons of slang. This I did not expect because I'm all like, okay, I was expecting like an older woman or something. Why in the world would they elect a young girl? But then again, she will last a whole lot younger. But she is so inexperienced and everything, and she gets on your nerves. But her assistant don't want to show the rest of the group where she's at. This made me think either the assistant or the Prime Minister can't be trusted. And so the Prime Minister and Bobby, they talk. And she's literally saying, look, man, be the bacon and everything. Repopulate the world and everything. Be that hero. And because, the thing is, before they went to City Hall and everything, Jackson and Alex, they went to go see their mother because he didn't know she was lobotomized because Lane said she would take care of her. Well, she did. She lobotomized her when their mom found out the truth. And so they go to her to find out what this weird language is she wrote. And it turns out there it's like coordinates. It's like a military map and stuff. And so now they have to find a military map, which is another reason why they went into the city to find the Prime Minister. Because the internet's down and so is TV and stuff. And so, like, he agrees to be the bacon and everything because they know they need that map and other stuff. And so, like, so she makes a press conference and you can hear it all over the radio. And so, like, photographers everywhere and there, and so she was shocked to find out there was a man as well. And she tells them, there is a man left in the world and stuff. He presents himself, the women are shocked. Now, here's the thing. She puts him in his military uniform, but she gives him a rifle. The rifle has old bullets and it won't be able to fire. He checked it before and everything like that, right? When they were getting their picture taken, Jamie saw the doctor lady. So she know, and the doctor lady is with the assistant. So the assistant can't be trusted. Also, Michelle betrayed them and everything. And so, next thing you know, the Prime Minister gets shot. They blame it on Robbie because he has a rifle. He flips out. I mean, flips out PTSD style. And he bolts. He puts like a sheet over his head so he won't be seen. And he just runs. The girls chase after him with a bike. And there they make it to like a boat garage type place. There they're weighing their options, but he's like, screw it. I'm finna hop on this motorcycle with this helmet and I'm finna take off, but there's no gas in it. And this is when we meet a new cast member. They call her the sea captain. I forget her real name. Basically, she don't want them there. And there's a bounty on the head of a man. So she sees the military like metals and everything, and she thinks she can sell it. Basically, in that city, it's survival of the fittest and everything. You sell to survive. And she's like a trader and everything. She trades goods and to get what she needs and stuff, right? And so, like, she takes them to this LGBT bar. Now, there are transgender men in there, and tons of women. And so, like, she knows, she ain't stupid. She knows Bobby's underneath that helmet and stuff. And she knows that the girl is the one helping him. The reward for them is a lot of money, and she plans on cashing it in. But then they bribe her. They want to give her something even more valuable. She has them break into a sperm bank. Now, they get captured when they're at the sperm bank. And then, like, she has Bobby. Those two bond over food, but she still ain't gonna let him go. Now, the ladies, they get taken to Lane. And so Lane is all like, I ran a DNA test on like Jamie. It turns out she has a baby boy inside of her. Two baby boys, and this is special. And so she makes a deal with like, Jamie. Give me your baby, y'all can go away, and we'll forget all this happened. Of course, Jamie says no. And then the craziest thing happens. She stabs Jamie over and over again. And I was shocked and surprised. I'm like, oh no, dude, not Jamie, don't kill her. But then the others come in and Jamie stands up. It's like, what the heck just happened? Well, this is the plan that they made with the sea captain. They promised they could get the sea captain Lane, and that'll be more valuable than like a bunch of money, because they could probably like sell her off and everything. Also, they need the sea captain's boat to get to like this other island, because that's where Alex's mom wanted them to go. Don't know what's on this island, but there's possibly a cure and everything. And because I can't read maps, I don't know where they're going. And so it turns out while they was at the club, they put these razor like claws on Jamie, and they dipped them in some type of like, knockout tranquilizer type gas. They also injected Jamie with Bobby's blood to make it think that it's the baby's blood that is a male. Jamie don't know what she's having. And so when she was getting stabbed, she scratched the crap out of like Lane, and Lane passes out. Constance is there, and she's getting ready to shoot like Alex and stuff. And like, she tells her, look, man, because they had made Lane the new prime minister. Now, this don't make no sense. Lane is the mayor. And so how in the world she go from being a mayor to prime minister? But they just literally elected her. I don't get it. And so, like, she tells her, look, man, you can lead better than Lane, and you should be the prime minister. Just let us go. So she lets them go and everything. And so they escape, and they head on the boat. And then the most craziest thing happened. When Lane wakes up, she talks to Alex. Alex is all like, I'm only letting you live because that's my nephew inside of you. Then it's time for Jamie to take watch. And her and Jamie have a heated conversation where Lane is taunting the crap out of Jamie and stuff. Talking about how I'm the special one with the male baby inside me and all this and that. And all kind of crap, right? Jamie does the unthinkable. She pushes Lane over the boat. And then you see tons of blood coming from underneath the boat because she hit the propeller. Jamie literally murdered Lane. And Lane had literally the only male baby that survived and everything. Now they can't repopulate New Zealand. So the rest of the group is extremely pissed off, while Jamie has kind of sinister smirk on her face. Jamie is dark like I don't know what this season. She has been through too much, and she has literally snapped. Then we get a post-credit scene. It turns out that the doctor is the one truly in charge of everything. She's been pulling the strings in the shadows. It was her embryo that she implanted into Lane. So her embryos that somehow I guess she remodified or whatever is the one that can cause a male baby to survive. So she's just gonna put it into like somebody else. And then so her and I think Michelle, I think get on like a no, her and the assistant to the prime minister get on like a copter and everything. I was not expecting that. So, if they get a season 3, most likely they're looking for the cure. And the doctor is going to do some weird, like, shenanigans, evil people type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the plot thickens. I gotta say, like I said before, this season was extremely dark. I wasn't really expecting it to go the way it was, especially with all the humor of season 1. But a lot of the humor got dialed down this season. And pretty much all the humor was mostly in episode 4. It's sprinkled with other episodes, but not much. It's 6 episodes, they're 20 minutes long. And you know, I gotta say, man, I really enjoyed it. I just wish there was more character development. See, with Alex, who I really haven't mentioned this much, she's kind of the same person she was last season. Now, last season, she does not like authority, she does not like wellness, but she is clever enough to like get herself captured and like, you know, shot with them little things and a little bit lobotomized so she doesn't have to feel the pain. And she's smart enough to write like, you know, go to this place and go to this place so you can remember what happened, stuff like that. She is upset about what happened to her mom, who's been lobotomized. This season, however, she's a lot more clever than she was last season. Somehow figuring out her mom's notes. How her mom is able to figure out like the cure and all this other stuff is never really explained. I don't know if her mom was in the medical field or science field or whatever. Also, I don't know how she's able to figure out that her mom is correct. Like, how does she know? You know what I'm saying? However, once they get to the Prime Minister episode, then she reverts back to that of season 1. It's her feet up on like chairs. She doesn't want to take like orders from nobody. She becomes back to like a pain in the butt. Pip, she's not as scared as she was last season, but she's kind of just there. She befriends Michelle only for Michelle to betray them and stuff. And, you know, she's just kind of there. Like, she just helps out. But there's not that much character development with her this season. There is some awkwardness with her and Bobby because of all what happened last season. With her walking in him on the shower and not wanting to leave, keeping an eye on him, and then almost sexually assaulting him when Lane forces her to. And so Bobby, he's a lot different this season. He is more driven, he is more focused, and he's very angry this season. However, one of the persons that he confines a lot to is other men this season, and also that of Jamie. He sees what all Jamie is going through and he feels terrible for her and stuff. So I hope this gets a 3rd season because I really, really, really want to see how this is going to end. And most likely the 3rd season will probably be its final and stuff if they get a 3rd season. I'm glad they killed the character of Jackson off because he was just like a terrible person, but I don't like how they tried to redeem him towards the end. Like, they literally try to make you feel sorry for him, especially with all the scenes with him and Jamie when he talked about how when they was married, everything was good, then they had that kid, everything was good, and then until the virus hit. And it's just kind of like he's terrible. He lured men to their doom and everything. He betrayed Jamie and Alex in a huge way. Like, he does not need forgiveness and stuff. So I hate when they try to redeem characters like that. Another cool thing about this show in this season is all of the representation. There's a lot of people of color. That's one of the 3 things that the 3 actresses, I can't talk right now. That's one of the things that the 3 actresses wanted to, like, you know, doing their like works that they're in, because the reason why they created Flat 3 is because they don't see people like them on TV. They are Chinese, and over in New Zealand, I'm assuming that it's probably predominantly white like it is in America. because there's so many different races in New Zealand, but you know, there's only like one thing on TV. So it was really cool to see like a blend of different races. However, I don't see no black. I've only seen like one or two black people at the least. So it would be nice if they had a little bit more of that. And yes, there are black people in New Zealand and stuff. I did my research. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.